All right, welcome back from that short break. The show is still The Break Live right here on Dominion Television, your channel of choice, where inspiration meets entertainment. Now it's time for Trend Watch on this show, and Oluwapo is back with me in the studio, which will be making sense of what's trending and what's buzzing on social media. Welcome back.
All right, so let's get straight into the business of the trend, if so to say. Now, UK rejects Nigerian request to deport former politician jailed for organ trafficking, and that's talking about Ekweremadu, the one-time deputy Senate president, in the country, also a leader at many fronts in the country. Now, so the conversation has been that the UK government rejected the request Nigeria to deport a former senior Nigerian politician convicted of organ trafficking. Of course, he's 63 years and is a former deputy president of the Nigerian Senate and an ally of former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, who is serving a sentence of 9 years, 8 months. It's almost 10 years anyway. So he was found guilty in 2023, if you remember, of conspiring to exploit a man for his kidney. Himself and his wife, Dr. Obina Obeta, and the story goes on and on and on. But the conversation has been that recently, the government of this day, especially the Tinubu-led government, came about to say that let's have a conversation. So the likes of Yusuf Tugar, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, and some other persons, Minister of Justice, all of the people that were found in that delegation went to the UK to seek his release or his transfer, as it were, or to seek, is it clemency, or to plead clemency or leniency, just for maybe that term to be reduced or for him to be extradited to Nigeria. But the conversation was not sitting well with the UK government. And so they said, you know what, we would not agree to this because we don't in any way support slavery. Because they felt what he did is more like slave trading. So you take someone to the UK to be exploited, the person's organ is going to be exploited for your own daughter. And that's even against ethical and moral law. So it questions a lot of things, especially for someone who is expected to know the law. Someone who has served in the political office in the country, something quite important. So we can't say you are not abreast of what the consequence of this would be. And like we always say, if you do the time, you should do the crime. So others have been questioned that there are a lot of persons, over hundreds of people in the UK, who are serving sentences in the UK prisons as we speak. Why was Ekweremadu's situation the most important to this present-day administration? So there are a lot of questions around this. So some are already getting innuendos and hearsays and trying to say, okay, maybe something is in there for this administration. Maybe there's something Ekweremadu can do to help this administration going forward, especially come 2027 presidential election. Everything is gathering up. Everybody is trying to do a lot of things to ensure that they get their best foot forward. Maybe one of their best foot is Ekweremadu. That's what some persons have suggested or implied from all of this conversation. The UK said, but I think one of the things that I'm going to speak to very quickly is that when that happened, how did this become a reality? How did this become of public notice? I would, one, give it to the UK hospital particularly that was supposed to carry out that operation, because they denied. They said they were not going to continue with that particular situation, that they would not take someone's organ, even after maybe they must have done some papers and all of that, maybe secretly. But then those guys saw, this is not something that is that is moral, that is legal. So let's not do it. So they said they were not going. So and that was how this eventually snowballed into something bigger for Ekweremadu. And as we speak, the administration of Tinubu wants him out. The UK government says no. We can also do the conversation to say, why do they want him out? Do they want to let him? Because if he comes to Nigeria, some have also said, we've seen the comment, some have said that, it's going to roam about. It might even be the next governor of the state, but, I'll have you.
You see, it is quite challenging, and I really feel bad about the situation. Why I said I feel bad is this further paints Nigeria as the kind of country that people out there are currently seeing. What does it say about Nigeria? It says that, in this country, you do anything and you get away. If one person, for any reason, has been convicted of a particular crime, the best thing for such person to do is to finish jail term. And if he wants to come back to Nigeria and then get presidential pardon like Alamesia also got, I think that will be left. That will be after the jail term. Don't forget that this is not the first time a Nigerian politician will be serving jail term in the UK. Take, for example, I think it was James Ibori of Delta State at a point where he was convicted of money laundering in the UK. He was sentenced for fraud and then 13 years imprisonment or thereabout, and then he was released after serving 4 years in the UK. He returned to Nigeria after his release. We have also had the case of Alamesia, who eventually returned to Nigeria, got presidential pardon. We sometimes, we punish people with lesser crimes, and then we punish people with lesser crimes, and then we just rob, the head of people who actually commit grave offenses. I think that's really one of the reasons why the judicial system has been made a subject of ridicule in the last few years. Not too many people believe in the judicial system of the government. In fact, not too many believe in the law enforcement agencies anymore, because once you arrest a person, say for example, someone who stole bread and probably a bottle of soft drink, is being sent to jail for 7 years, and then there's someone gallivanting around on the street that stole billions and billions of naira, and then the next thing they say is there's plea bargain. Out of the 7 billion naira I stole, I'll give you 400 million back. The rest I can't account for it because I don't know where it is. And then that person suddenly becomes a saint overnight. That is exactly the current situation. I think if we continue this way, we are a joke. In fact, the fact that the Nigerian government went to the UK for this particular reason makes the government a joke. So I think what we should be doing right now is to change the face, the image of Nigeria out there. Make them see us as a serious country. The body language of the government must also tell the right story and not the wrong story. What they just did is, their body language just says a lot about how they don't really care about corruption. They don't care about so many things. But then, in the real sense of it, I do hope that going forward, the Nigerian government will see things the way most Nigerians want Nigeria to be, because we all want development anyway. But there are comments on this particular story.
Yeah.
Maybe we should take
Let's take comments. This is from quickly. Michael Ogo. It says, transfer the case to Nigeria and will become the governor of his state while in prison.
Well,
let it be. Also says something that is interesting. It says, UK knew it was a political calculation that made such request and not in the interest of the country. If it were to be tried in Nigeria, it will be adjourned indefinitely and everyone would have forgotten about it. This is what Nigerian elites do.
And someone was even thanking the UK government that the Nigerian judiciary has been captured. If he is returned, he will be released the same day. Well, this will be the convenient point to leave it on this show this morning. We say thank you for joining us on Daybreak Live on Dominion Television, your channel of choice. Champions are not made in the stadium. They are made of something deep inside of them. So join us again tomorrow, same station, same host, same time. Samson Balogu is my name. Bye for now.
And whatever is worth doing at all is worth doing well. Or should we put it better? Whatever is worth doing at all is worth starting early until you learn to do it well. My name is Anolu Akwedo. Thank you for joining us. Bye for now.